You're tuned into your feel-good breakfast show, Expresso on SABC3. Now, let's talk about a topic that is sometimes probably swept under the rug more often than we'd like. Colorism, a term that describes the phenomenon of individuals being treated with prejudice based on varying degrees of skin color, which is typically demonstrated by the favoring of light-skinned individuals over darker-skinned individuals. Now, to help us understand this topic further, the insightful Lebo, Mashile and Ayandamantombazane Mhlongo join us for the Ingram's Skin Session talk about the politics of beauty around the topic of colorism and how we can encourage each other to be brave in the skin that we're in. Ladies, thank you very much for joining us this morning.
Thank you.
Also now with social media, you see a lot of women speak about the fact that, you know, black is beautiful, we're celebrating melanin and all of that, but maybe bring it back to you. What does your skin mean to you and how do you wear it bravely?
I believe as a dark-skinned woman, or woman rather, my skin is exactly who I am. It encompasses everything about me, my journey through life, through unpacking exactly who I am and learning more about myself. It literally encompasses everything that I am. And I think the importance of understanding your skin color and accepting your skin color goes beyond just being who you are. It also goes to who your ancestors are, how you were formed, and it also then carries on into other generations.
In every society where you've had colonialism, slavery, institutionalized racism, you have colorism. And colorism is it's a form of discrimination that exists amongst people of color. So colorism is there in India. Colorism is there in Vietnam. Colorism is there in Japan. It's in Brazil. It's in Africa. It's in South Africa. It's the privileging of people with lighter skin who are people of color, you know? So, I mean, one of the practical ways that we see it, look at who gets cast in leading roles. Look at TV presenters. I mean, beauty is a form of currency, right? And beauty is a double-edged sword, you know? So on the one hand, beauty is a wonderful thing to celebrate. It's a tool of expression. It's a tool of self-identification. It's how we feel good about ourselves. But on the other hand, beauty also becomes a weapon in the hands of patriarchy, in the hands of the media, in the hands of all these people who want to control how we see, how we feel about ourselves, right? Yeah. And we see this in how particularly light-skinned women are so visible in the media at the expense of dark-skinned women. So social media has created a space where it's possible for people independently to be able to represent themselves, you know? So, I mean, you turn on Instagram, you see beautiful black bodies, you see fat bodies, you see plus-size bodies, you see queer bodies, you see gorgeous dark-skinned women like Ayanda. And in many ways, that is a rebellion against what mainstream media has been showing us for such a long time. I mean, look at any soapy in South Africa. Look at who's on the magazine covers. Look at who is cast as romantic leads, who we elevate as our beauty queens, who the biggest pop stars in this country and in the world are, you know? Light-skinned people, particularly light-skinned women, occupy a lot of space, you know? So colorism is violent, you know? It's inculcated from the time that we are young, you know? Songs like Ngwana Uthwana Lele Khalate, or, you know, our obsession with light skin in this country. The fact that skin lighteners are a major product and an industry, a global industry, right? All of this tells us that dark-skinned people, particularly dark-skinned girls, get told from the time that they are born that you are invisible, you don't matter, you're not worthy, you know? So reclaiming your skin as a Black woman, reclaiming the beauty of Black skins, particularly darker hues, it's a profound act of love, but also of resistance and rebellion against institutionalized racism.
Wow. Very, very well said. And I mean, it echoes back to, like you're saying, singing songs like Twang, Twang, Twang and ending it off with Ngwana Uthwana Lele Khalate, which is something that we grew up with and you kind of just accept it as, but this is the norm of our community and this is how we celebrate a beautiful thing. But when you think about how it almost rewires your mind and prepares it for what is out there. It's extraordinary to think about it like that. And so to that, I want to ask the question, and I can start off with you again, Ayanda, about why do you think that we do not speak more openly about colorism, especially within our black and colored communities?
Once you are dark-skinned and you stand up against something, there's a bigger chance for you to be ostracized than to actually have support. And so normally when people don't speak out, or when dark-skinned females like me don't speak out against something that affects us, it's more based on fear than anything else. And like Lebo had actually touched on initially, only now, you know, in 2020, only now are we starting to like say, oh my gosh, actually, this dark-skinned chick is beautiful. Only now am I seeing roles on television with females that look like me. Only now am I seeing newspapers and magazines with dark-skinned girls. Only now am I seeing a top 20 of a pageant with girls that look like me. Whereas when I grew up, when I'm only 28, when I grew up, all I saw were a bunch of light-skinned women. And my mom is actually quite light-skinned. And so it was quite confusing, because then it even dates way back to primary school, when I'd go to school and everyone would be like, is that your mom? Why are you dark and your mom is so light? Yeah. How does that actually work out? And then it also dates back to your family saying, you look more like your dad and not your mom. And that's coming off as quite offensive. And so when we don't necessarily stand up and say, hey, can you guys chill and understand that me being dark-skinned means I'm also beautiful, means I'm just as smart, means I'm just as able to do. Only now are we experiencing this, and mainly everything has been based on fear, and on fear of being ostracized by your very community. I mean, it's enough to deal, you know, with other races looking down at you, but can you imagine being ostracized by your people too, just because you happen to be 5 shades darker?
Now, between the editing apps and the social media platforms, the pressure to look a certain way can really be daunting. How can we, as the torchbearers of the entertainment industry, better educate society to celebrate the vast skin tones we have right here in South Africa?
I love what I see content creators on social media doing. I love the fact that social media is open to everybody. You don't have to go via mainstream media anymore to get information, to see beautiful images, to get inspiration. You open up your phone and you see people representing themselves how they want to be seen. And I think that that is profoundly liberating. Every time I see a body positive post, every time I see a post with a woman showing her cellulite or showing her stretch marks or showing her post-birth body, you know, or us celebrating skin hues that have been degraded, that have been ostracized, that have been made fun of, that have been erased, you know. Every time we see this, it's like an act of liberation, you know. It liberates the person who is posting it and sharing it, but it also liberates everybody who's watching. And it gives us an alternative. It means that our stories, our images, what we think, what we consume, what we are inspired by is no longer in the hands of the few. It's no longer in the hands of a small concentrated group of people with money and power. It's in everybody's hands. And the ripple effect that has is huge. I mean, now you've got, you know, Ingram's doing this incredible campaign around loving the skin that you're in. And I mean, it's in direct response to the work that's being done by people like Ayanda, by other content creators who are out there saying like, yeah, we are beautiful. It means that you sitting in your house right now have the power to shift what we see on mainstream media, the products that we see in our supermarkets. You know, you have the power to shift the world around us just by honoring and celebrating who you are.
Absolutely. You speak volumes and you speak power and life into this conversation, both of you ladies. Now that we've spoken and recognized the beauty that we each possess, let's talk about taking care of the skin that we're in. Please share some of your best tips that could help us, you know, empower ourselves and in doing so, become more confident. Ayanda, let me start off with you.
Yeah, I'm a water baby. I grew up with my gran. I'm a water baby. Water, 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 water. You cannot go wrong with water. And also my gran really forced me to use Ingrams from the time I was a kid. And it's actually benefited me like so crazy. 28 years later, I have super smooth skin. Water. Water's my secret.
All right, Lebo.
Ditto, ditto. Yes, yes, yes. Water, 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 water. We should be drinking like 2 to 3 liters of water a day, and also hydrating. So hydrating from within, but also hydrating on the outside. And products like Ingram's products are amazing. I mean, I love the tissue oil range. I think we all grew up on the camphor range. You know, when
Yes.
you're talking about your grandma.
Yes, winter.
Yeah.
Winter. Like camphor, you know, it takes me back. It takes me back home. But the grannies knew, they knew what time it was.
I was just going to say now, Ayanda's grandma also made her those earrings. So Ayanda, your grandma is the whole plug, mama.
I love her. Shout out, Coco.
Listen, ladies, I also want to talk about some of the dark skin versus light skin myths that you think need to be debunked. You know, for example, skin color is not a skin type. Darker skin tones have some physiological differences from lighter skin tones, but those differences don't impact what products people should be using. Maybe you guys can give some more insight about this.
I mean, myths like dark-skinned people can't wear bright colors. I mean, look at Ayanda with her beautiful pink lipstick and that orange behind you. Like, you know, the color just pops. Like, you can wear whatever you want as a Black girl, whatever color you are, whatever shade you are. If you are dark-skinned, bright colors look beautiful on you. Berry colors look beautiful on you. Pastel colors look beautiful on you. And I mean, there are some serious advantages also to having dark skin. Dark skin ages much slower than lighter skin, you know? And I mean, you see it. Like, you see ageless dark-skinned beauties who look the same for 20, 30 years as they grow older. It's a blessing, in fact, to have a dark skin. And I think when we're confronting whatever ism it is, whether it's colorism or racism or sexism, homophobia, it's important to understand that these are ways of thinking and being that have been inculcated into us. We've been indoctrinated with this. We were not born like this. A baby isn't born thinking that lighter skin is better than darker skin. That is something that is taught. It's taught in culture, it's taught in media, it's taught at school, it's taught in families, it's ingrained into us. So as much as, you know, we've had these messed up ideas ingrained into us, we can also do the reverse. You know, we can teach ourselves how to love ourselves. We can put new forms of inspiration, new ways of thinking into our minds. And we can also challenge people when they confront us with this stuff. You know, when you see somebody saying, I prefer yellow bones, call them on it. Call them on the violence of what they're doing.
Wow.
Listen, after this conversation, I have a huge smile on my face, not just because of the beauty and energy that you both portray, because you've made me love the skin I'm in even more, and I didn't know that I could love it even more, but I do now, thanks to you, ladies.
What did you ladies do?
Thank you very, very much for joining us. We really appreciate it. Have a great day.
You too. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Now, of course, be sure to set your alarms for 5 p.m. on SABC3 to watch Afternoon Express this Thursday for another Ingram's Skin session where Palesa will be digging deeper into this topic.
Thanks to Ingram's for this inspiring campaign, encouraging us to speak more openly about these relevant issues in our society. We're joining them in telling South Africa that they only have one skin, so remember to nourish it and wear it bravely. Make sure to join the conversation by sharing your skin, your brave story with an image or video on our Facebook page, post with the hashtags #Ingrams and #YourSkinYourBrave, and you could stand a chance to win a 10,000 Rand cash prize and the opportunity for your story to be featured right here on the show.
You only have one skin. Nourish it and wear it bravely.